Hello guys, welcome back to the channel Mathematics World. In the last video we have seen GCD and the examples of GCD. That is how we find the GCD of two numbers by using Euclidean algorithm. Also I gave you two examples to solve. Did you solve that? If you did and you want to verify your answer, I post the solution of that question on Instagram, so you can check that out. Now come to our today's video, as we have only two topics remaining from this unit, that is divisibility in integers topic. So we'll cover that in today's video. So without wasting a time, let's start. So our first topic is LCM. As we all studied this topic in our lower class, I'm not going to take this in deep, just take a definition. So what is the definition? An integer p is said to be a least common multiple of two non-zero integers a and b if first condition is a divide p and b divide p. Second condition is if a divide k, b divide k, then p also divide k. Okay, this is the definition, and in syllabus you don't have anything else from this topic. So now let's move on to our next topic, that is fundamental theorem of arithmetic. This is also called unique factorization theorem for integers. Now come to a statement. The statement says every integer n greater than 1 can be expressed as product of positive primes, and this is unique except for the order in which prime factor occurs. Okay, this is the statement of fundamental theorem of arithmetic. We prove this theorem by second principle of induction, in which we have two cases. First case is we prove every integer n greater than 1 can be written as product of positive prime, and second condition is uniqueness of this expression. So let's see case 1. What is case 1? We prove every integer n greater than 1 can be written as product of positive. We prove this theorem by induction, right? As you know the statement of induction, directly we see how to write it. So here we take Pn be a statement, and we have given n greater than 1. So we are taking some positive primes which indicates n. Therefore we write here n is equal to P1, P2, Pr, which are positive primes, and by induction we have to solve. We have given n greater than 1, therefore initial value of n is our 2. Okay, if we have given n greater than or equal to 1, initial value of n is our 1. Okay, but they have given us n greater than 1, that's why we take 2 as the initial value. Therefore we consider P2, and since P2 is prime, so this can be written as 2 is equal to 2. Okay, therefore P2 is true. So our first case of induction is true. Assume the result is true for k. This is the definition which we are using here. Now from this what we write, that is for every integer k can be written as a product of positive primes. By second principle of induction we write this. In a case 3, what we have to show, that this is true, this statement is true for m. Okay, that's why we write here we will prove the result is true for Pm. Okay, that is to show that the integer m can be expressed as a product of positive prime. Here we have two cases. First is if m is a prime, then what we get, and second is if m is not prime, then what? Okay, so in a first case, if m is a prime, then there is nothing to prove, because what we have to show, the integer m can be expressed as a product of positive prime. If m is a prime, then we can easily write m in the form of product. Okay, therefore there is nothing to prove. In a case 2, if m is not prime, if it is not prime means it is composite. Okay, as we saw the definition in our first video, here we take m is equal to product of two variables, that is m1 and m2, where these m1 and m2 are between 1 to m. Now by induction we can write this as a product of positive primes. Means what we have to show, this is a positive prime. Okay, so for that what we write, let m1 is equal to p1 p2 pr and m2 is equal to q1 q2 qs. Okay, therefore this m1 is equal to m1 we write as it is, and instead of m1 we put the value of m1 here, p1 p2 pr instead of m1, and q1 q2 qs instead of m2. Okay, so from this what we write, m is in the form of product of positive primes, that's why the result pm is true. Okay, hence by second principle of induction we say pn is true for all n greater than or equal to 2, means for all n greater than 1 pn is true. Okay, this is our first case. In a case 2, we will prove uniqueness of expression. Suppose here we have two expressions for all n greater than 1. n is equal to p1 p2 pk and n is equal to q1 q2 ql, where these p1 p2 pk and q1 q2 ql are positive primes. What we have to show here is uniqueness, means we have to show this k is equal to l. Now we will prove this by induction. So here we take k is equal to 1, then this n is equal to p1, because k is 1, therefore we have n is equal to p1, and this p1 is equal to q1 because n is equal to q1. So if you equating these two equations, then you get p1 is equal to q1, p2 is equal to q2, pk is equal to qn. Okay, that's why we write here q1 is equal to p1 and l is equal to 1, because k is equal to 1, so l is equal to 1. Now we take case 2, if k greater than 1, and we assume induction for k minus 1 elements. From that what we write, consider p1 p2 pk is equal to q1 q2 ql, and this pk divides this p1 p2 pk, and this p1 p2 pk is equal to q1 q2 ql. Okay, so from this expression what we write, pk divides this q1 q2 ql by Euclid's lemma. Okay, now from this q1 q2 ql we get qt. Okay, and this pk divides this qt. Okay, that's what we write here. And but this pk and qt are both positive primes, because this pk is from this element, this pk is from this element, and these are the positive primes. This is also positive primes, that's why we are taking qt from these elements, that's why qt is also prime. That's what we write here. From this pk divide qt we get pk is equal to qt. Okay, now we modify this p1 p2 pk and q1 q2 ql. So we write that p1 p2 pk minus 1 pk which is equal to Q1, Q2, this QT and Q1. Okay. So from this, what we write, this Pk and this Qt are equal. So from that, what we write, we get the elements P1, P2, Pk minus 1 is equal to Q1, Q2, Qn. Okay. Therefore, by induction, these are the elements in K minus 1, that's what we write here, and these are the element in L minus 1, because from this we take Pk out and from this we take Qt outside. Okay, outside means we take that element from that set. Okay, so that's why the elements which we have after taking out these two, K minus 1 and L minus 1, and where Pi is equal to Qj, where this I is from 1 to K minus 1 and this J is between 1 to L, where this J is not equal to this K is equal to L, means here we have K minus 1 K minus 1 is equal to L minus 1. So this 1 get cancelled. So from this we get K is equal to L for each Pi is equal to some Qj. Okay, and we get N is equal to P1, P2, Pk is equal to Q1, Q2, Qn. That's we have to show. See here, what we have to show, this K is equal to L and Pi is equal to Qj. That's what we show here. Hence, we prove the theorem. And here we end the unit. In the next video, we will see the example of this fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Bye.